Now that we have SQL Server and ssms installed, our next step is going to be to install the different database files that we're going to be using in this course. We are first going to start with the Murak database, which is the one provided by our textbook. So if you just click on the link, you are going to see a zipped file, and I'm going to put this in my download folder. And then I'm going to go ahead and show the contents of that download folder. Hopefully. And once I can see the zipped file, I am going to have to extract or decompress the files in order to do the installation. And so what I'm looking at here is my download folder. And it has opened and it is showing the contents of the zip file. So what you may see is your download folder looks something like this. What you may have to do is either double click on that zipped file or single click and choose extract. But you definitely need to decompress the zipped file before you try to open the SQL scripts and run them. So I'm going to go ahead and extract all. And I'm just going to put the extracted folder in my download folder. And this contains several different files, but the files that we are concerned about, the ones that we want to use for the install, are the database scripts. And as long as you have your ssms open, when we double click on those scripts, they'll open right up in ssms, SQL Server Management Studio. And all we really have to do is execute them. Okay, so my system is set up so that once I have extracted files, it opens that folder. Not all Windows applications are set up this way. So make sure that you are looking at the decompressed folder. So in your download folder, the one with the zipper is the compressed one. So you want to make sure you're looking at the folder that does not have the zipper. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and open that up. And we are interested in the databases. And there are 3 different scripts that we are going to run. And so I'm going to double click on the first one. And as long as your cursor is in the script, we can execute it. And the commands that are in here are basically going to create the database. It's called AP. And then it's going to add tables to it. After it adds the tables, it's actually going to add data to those tables. And probably within 6 or 7 weeks, you will understand what all of this code means. Okay, but for right now, all you're going to do is click on execute. Okay, and then you're going to see a little window display. You're going to see a lot of messages that say 1 row affected, and this relates to the data that is being inserted. Okay, so once that is done, if you want to double check and make sure it's there, if you just right click on databases and choose refresh, you should see AP there. Okay, and then if you click on the plus sign, you're going to see all of the different types of database objects. And if you click the plus sign next to tables, you can actually see the different tables that were created. So we're going to go ahead and click the X to close that one. And we'll go back into our download folder over here. And now we're going to do the examples database. So we're going to double click on that one. And this is going to create a database called examples. And all we have to do is click on execute. Okay. And if you wanted to see it under databases, again, you just need to right click on databases and choose refresh. Okay. And so we're going to go ahead and close that. And we'll go back over. There's one more of the textbook author databases that we need, and that is the product order one. So we're going to go ahead and double click on that. Okay, so this database is called product orders, and we're going to go ahead and execute. And at this point, right click here, refresh. We have the 3 databases that the textbook author wanted us to have. And our next step is going to be to add a couple more databases, because when we are running queries, it's nice to have lots of different things to look at. So we're going to close this, and we're going to go back out to Moodle. And the next one that we are going to download and install is the Northwind database. And this is a Microsoft database that's pretty well known. We're also going to do one called Pub. And so we're going to click on this link. And these are also in a zipped folder. So we're going to go ahead and save that. And then I'm going to open up that folder and do another extraction. Okay, so here is the folder. This is the zipped one. So I'm going to do an extract all. Okay, and so here it is. I'm going to go ahead and double click and open it. There's 2 scripts that we're going to run. We're going to do the Northwind script, and then we're going to do the Pub script. So we're going to double click on Northwind. Okay, and this is going to create a database called Northwind. And sometimes when you run the scripts, you may see a couple little errors. I think there's a couple of procedures that are not going to work, but those are not database objects that we're going to even look at until the end of the semester. And you're going to actually learn how to create your own. So what we're going to do is click on execute. And there is a lot that is going on here. So you can see my query completed with errors, and I have a couple little errors. SP adoption is a little error. And so this is a stored procedure. This is not going to affect the database or the tables or anything else that we want to look at. So this basically worked. All we have to do is right click on the databases and refresh. And here it is. And then if we look at the tables, you can see there are quite a few of them, and they're all populated with data. And in addition to the tables, we have all sorts of other database objects that we can look at. And there are also quite a few stored procedures that actually did work. Okay, so it's just the one that didn't. So we're going to go ahead and close this. And we're going to go back over and install the other one. And so this is like a textbook publisher database. And so we're going to go ahead and execute this. Okay, and so again, there was a little error on a stored procedure. but otherwise, everything did work. Okay, and so if I right click on this and refresh, you can see I have pubs and I've got my tables in here. Okay, so we have plenty of tables and data to work with. Now there's just one more that we're going to install. So I'm going to close this out and we're going to go back over to Moodle. And the last one is the Worldwide Importer database. And there's a couple different ones that you can install. And the one that I believe will work for everybody is this one, Worldwide Importer Standard Backup. So you can actually just click that link and download that one, okay? The other one works really well in Windows 10, but it does not work in Windows 11, which is what I have. If you click on this link, it gives you a full list, and there's a lot of different versions of this particular database. This Worldwide Importer full backup, if you have Windows 10, you can do that one, okay? Because that should work. Otherwise, this is the standard version down here, and that should work for everybody. Okay, but those are the only two that I would want you to install. Okay, and it depends on your operating system. And I will tell you that the tables, once these are installed, the tables that you see are going to look the same. Okay. So I've got this backup now that I have downloaded. To install this, this is not a script that I can simply double click on. Okay, I actually have to restore the backup in the database itself. And right now I've got that backup in my download folder. Okay, it's right here. The problem is if I try to restore, ssms does not have access to the download folder. And I can show you that. If I right click and I go to restore the database, which is the command that you have to use if you want to pull in a backup, you have to select device, and then you have to find that backup file. So if I click on this and then I click on add, there is no way for me to get to downloads. Okay, because normally how I would do it is I'd go into this Lisa laptop, which is my user, and you know, I'd be able to navigate to downloads from there, but it doesn't let me go that far. In fact, I only have direct access to the directories or folders that are on my C drive. So what I do with the backups is I put them into a temp folder. So over here, you need to look at your C drive and see if you have a temp folder. And if you do not have a folder called temp, it's not a big deal because you can create one. Now there should be a button up on your toolbar, and it depends on your version of Windows, but one of them will say new folder. In Windows 11, like I'm having to click on new and select folder, but either way, you can create a folder called temp. And then if you want, you can actually come back out here and just do the download again and download it into temp, or you can move it into temp. So if I'm downloading directly into temp, I could find my C drive, open up temp, and stick it right in there. I'm going to fix the name though. And once I have it in a folder that ssms can actually find, okay, then I can go through this process again. I'll show it to you again here. I'm going to right click on databases, go to restore, choose device because I'm finding it on my computer. I'm going to click on the ellipsis here, the 3 periods, click on add, and I'm going to go to that temp directory. And then I'm going to look for Worldwide Importers Standard Backup and click OK. I'm going to click OK again. And then I'm going to click OK one more time. And what you should see is this little green bar filling up. And if you start seeing percentages, that's a good thing. That means it's working. If it doesn't work, it's going to give you an error over here. Okay, so if you try the standard backup and it doesn't work, go back out there and try the full backup because you have choices. But you either want the standard one or the full one. Okay, and when it does work, it'll come back and it'll tell you that it restored successfully. Okay, and then you'll click OK. And if you refresh, you might not even need to refresh. I see it right now. And then if I click on the plus sign, and you can see all the different tables. And the standard and the full have the exact same tables. Okay, so this full backup and the standard one look the same. So hopefully this will go smoothly for you because we need to have all of this data so that we can do queries. It's hard to query things that don't exist. So if you guys run into any problems with installing either SQL Server or ssms, or you have problems installing the database files, let me know and I can meet up with you in Zoom and I can help you.